Hall of Famer Charles Barkley back on the show. How are you, Charles?
I'm doing great, man. Got no complaints. Just looking forward to the game tonight. Trying to figure out how I'm going to watch Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. So I'm really pissed about that. I'm not in the studio where I can have the game on, so I got to figure out how I'm going to watch that game somewhere in the Boston Garden.
Well, I mean, maybe you could stream it on your phone or something like that, right? I imagine you could do something like that.
You know, I'm anti-technology. I do no social media.
I know.
I don't even know how to stream anything on my phone. But you know, I got to watch the game also. So
okay. Well, maybe you could have somebody, on this. I mean, just remind everybody that you're the reigning Emmy Award winner for Best Studio Analyst, Charles, and have somebody hand you a device with that game going on.
Well, I got to make sure I watch it. And that's like a Game 7. I'm really looking forward to that game tonight.
So how much hockey do you watch normally? Or is it just because it's an all or nothing game and you like that sort of stuff?
No, I watch a lot of hockey. You know, I became a Flyers fan when I played for the Sixers, going back to Ron Hextall, Eric Lindros, those guys. And I have watched pretty much. See, that's the thing. When I'm in the studio, we have about 20 televisions in there.
Right.
You know, so I've watched from the beginning of the playoffs. I've watched the game every night, basically, for the last 2 months.
Charles Barkley joining me here. So
it's not like there's been a lot of intrigue in the NBA playoffs, I might add. so thank God for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hey, there have been a ton of overtime games in hockey. They have been
my God,
exhilarating.
It's unbelievable. You know, and for some reason I've become a PK Subban fan.
Oh, wow.
You know, because I actually kind of technically now root for the Blackhawks, and I started watching the Predators the first round. And I knew PK had come from Montreal over the summer, and I'm like, wow, these guys are going to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. So,
swept him. Crushed him. They crushed him.
Unbelievable.
Well,
4-zip sweep.
Yeah, well, in terms of the lack of, sizzle on occasion with the NBA playoffs, with the Cavs coming.
Occasional sizzle. When we had occasional sizzle?
Well, I guess Coach Fizdale, take that for data. There was that. There was a couple of those games.
But listen, we knew 7 months ago it was going to come down to the Warriors and the Cavaliers. You know, the only thing been great about this season has been James Harden and Russell Westbrook gave us an amazing storyline. But we knew 7 months ago we started it in October. It's going to be, okay, what are we going to do this boring regular season? Because it's going to be the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals. And, you know, that's the only thing that sucks for the fans. Unless you're in Oakland or Cleveland, not a lot to cheer about.
Well, what do you do about that, Charles? What can be done about it? Is there anything if you're Adam Silver?
I don't think you can do anything about it now. I think, all these guys want to play together. There's so much money in sports now. You know, the new TV deal went from $1 billion to $2.5 billion a year. So a team like the Warriors can pay. They're going to have to pay Kevin and Steph $200 million. They just gave Draymond $100. They gave Klay $100 million, and all these guys want to play together. So it's going to be very interesting the next few years in the NBA.
Charles Barkley joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So when these two teams do meet, because we expect it to happen, obviously, Cavs and Warriors, what do you see happening? Do you see that being less of a compelling series than we expect?
No, I like the Cavs in that series.
Why?
I think because I think if you look at the series, so this way, Kevin and LeBron, that's a matchup. Steph against Kyrie, that's a matchup. Those are going to cancel each other out. And then it's going to come down to Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson against Draymond and whichever big guy, whether it's JaVale McGee or Jaja Pachulia. That, to me, is a toss-up, those four guys. But nobody can match up with Kyrie and LeBron. And the one disadvantage for Golden State is the only way you're going to beat the Cavs is slow them down, because you can't stop LeBron and you can't stop Kyrie. And they're actually going to speed them two guys up. That's why I think they got a really good chance of beating the Warriors, in my opinion.
So what if Klay lights it up, though? I mean, wouldn't that be the difference maker if he's now?
Well, Klay. No, because Klay's not going to be lighting it up, because the other two guys going to have the ball. If you actually watch these games, Klay's the guy who's suffering the most because of Kevin and Steph playing great. Everybody's been saying, you watch the games, Klay's not been great in the playoffs.
Right.
And that's not his fault because I think he's the best two guard in the NBA. But the problem is he don't get touches anymore. And like I say, Kyrie, Steph can't guard Kyrie, and Kevin can't guard LeBron, but LeBron can guard Kevin. But as great as Klay is, he don't get touches anymore. He's sacrificing suffer more than anybody on the team.
Charles Barkley here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you make of the news that Danny Ainge let loose today that the Ball family says we're not working out for you and the Celtics? What's your thoughts on that, Charles?
Can anybody in sports be more disliked than the dad Ball? I mean, this guy won't let his kid shine. I think his kid's a hell of a player. Might be the best player in the draft. I love the kid from Kansas a lot, Jackson. But Ball is terrific. Seems like a great kid. But I don't think there's anybody in sports more that I dislike more than Mr. Ball. And I don't know him as a person, but I've never seen a dad who – think about this. When's the last time we actually talked about the kid Ball? I mean, think about it. When I covered March Madness, I watched that kid play probably 15 times. I said, man, this kid is special. He's really good. But think about for the last 5 months, when's the last time we actually talked about the kid and wasn't talking about his dad? That just pisses me off. I mean, the kid's special, but we have not mentioned that kid in the last 5 months. Name me one time you mentioned that kid in the last 5 months. It's always been us talking about something his dad said. And I just think that sucks, to be honest with you.
If you're Magic and you know Irvin, what do you think he's thinking when he sees what LeVar is, strategizing and saying and welcoming that into his house now that he's got what, I'm sure he's been dreaming of for some time, which is control of the operations of the Los Angeles Lakers, Charles?
Well, I think Magic is the perfect person to tell Mr. Ball to shut the hell up and stay out of our gym. It's going to take a really strong person. A lot of these people are cowards when it comes to telling players how to act. The players make so much money. A lot of these organizations are cowards, and they let the players do whatever they want to. They never win. But Magic Johnson, to me, is the perfect guy. Says, hey, we appreciate your son. He's going to be a great player. Now stay out the gym. You're not coming to meetings. You can buy season tickets just like the rest of the fans do. I think Magic is one of the few people that can do that. I think Mr. Ball would intimidate other people, and they'd be scared to tell him to get the hell out the gym. So I actually think it's a good situation, him going to the Lakers, because I know Magic Johnson well enough to know he ain't going to take no crap off anybody.
And that said, though, Charles, I mean, it seems that LeVar Ball is playing from a different playbook than most. Wouldn't you think that he'd be the type of guy that would go back at Irvin and say, he's my son and I'm a big baller, et cetera?
Yeah, but you don't get to do that. You don't get to take this ain't bring your parents to work day. When you go to work, you don't take your dad. That's not in any employment manual, in any job description. You don't get that's like, remember a couple of years ago when the guy wanted to bring his kid into the locker room and on all the trips, and the player says, and the general manager said, no, you can't do that. This is not high school where you bring you can like, okay, I'm gonna bring my kid to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I think Magic ain't gonna have any of that crap. He shouldn't have to do that. Actually, I mean, time for that dude to step back and let his kids get some shine. Stay out the way. Just because he averaged a whole 2 points a game in college, he had his day. Well, technically, he hasn't had his day. You average 2 points a game, you haven't had your day.
The great Charles Barkley. A few more minutes with him here on the show. Are you fine with Shaq? Is everything all right with you guys? You and Shaq?
Yeah. I like messing with it. I love digging with the little fella. Because, I told somebody, he got thinner skin than Flat Stanley. And I like messing with him. And I just keep turning and turning. And I can just see the veins in his forehead every time I ride him about Kobe and Dwayne and Alonzo. And I just like messing with him because he got thin skin. I told people he does. He got thinner skin than Flat Stanley. And I'm just sitting there dying laughing, and he's getting so mad. But we're always good, man. But I'm going to keep digging at him because I love to see him sweat.
He was definitely sweating. There's no doubt about that. How much further would you have gone with, like, Mark Madsen, Smush Parker? Do you need any more names for us?
The only thing was really funny. I ran out of names. That's because, when I start, like, obviously, Dwayne and Alonzo and those guys, I should have saw you Udonis Haslem in there. I think Jason Williams might have been on that team. I tell you what, though.
Yeah.
I heard some people talking about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have came up with Smush Parker, that might have been the greatest name ever.
There's always tonight, Charles.
Hey, I'm telling you, if I could have come up with Smush Parker, I think I would have blew up the internet.
Well, he did post a picture of him blocking you today to keep this thing going, I guess, going into tonight. So I'm sure that.
Listen, I can listen, Mark Madsen. I can keep coming up with names if he want to keep it going. See, but that's the thing that's funny about him. Like, he keeps it going because he's still thinking about it. I haven't thought about it since I walked off the set that night. See, that's when you know that. See, he's still thinking about it 2 days later.
That's the Flat Stanley. That's the Flat Stanley right there.
Yeah. Hey, I'm like, the people say to me, "You and Shaq all right?" I'm like, "Dude, what you talking about? What happened on the show?" I said, "Dude, we're on TV having fun. I haven't thought about that since I stepped off the show that night. Relax."
Well, Smush Parker, feel free to use that tonight, Charles. We don't even need the credit.
Hey, Rich, I appreciate you giving me that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Hey, look.
Hey, so, Ray, are you busy right now with all these OTAs going on?
Sure. Well, the big thing is the celebration penalty or the ban on certain celebrations being removed in the NFL. What do you think about that, Charles?
I like celebrations. What I'm hoping don't happen is every nitwit start trying to come up with celebrations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think celebrations are great for the game. I think they're fun for the fans. But what we don't want to do is bad players start spending all of their time coming up with celebrations. The guy who gets like 3 touchdowns a year, they should put caveats in there. You have to have had double-digit touchdowns in your career 1 year before you can celebrate.
And you also have to be up, right? Don't you think you have to be up on the scoreboard? You shouldn't be losing by 2 scores,
that's
right?
True. Yeah, we should come up with what would be a fair number? Because if you're down by 7 or 10 or 2 touchdowns, that's a very fine line. If you're down 3 touchdowns or more, you can't celebrate.
Right.
But seriously, you got to if you have never had double-digit touchdowns and I mean, some of these guys, like, we even say, even in high school and college, if you haven't had double digits, you can't celebrate.
Okay, so if you're down by double digits and your score still keeps you within double digits, good.
You can't do it. That would be a perfect rule. If you're a touchdown and you're still down double digits, no celebrating. Just hand the ball like Barry Sanders did to the referee.
And if you break that, do you get fined or penalized? What do you think?
Well, we should. One of the things I loved doing when I was on certain teams, we had a kangaroo court where you get penalized for doing stupid stuff. If you do that, that should be a $2,500 fine you have to put into the kitty for the end of the year party.
Oh, man, I love chatting with you, Charles. Have a good time tonight. Smush Parker, I'll be tuning in for that tonight.
Smush Parker. I appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks for having me on. Keep up the great work.
Likewise, Charles. Love it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, download our app. Please, just if it's a memory thing, just delete other apps. You don't need those apps. This app, the Rich Eisen Show app, you need that.